G'day, welcome back to another episode of TOGL. As I said at the end of last week, or you saw me last week, I was clearing a lot of logs out of this big long line of brush up the side here. So I've taken as much out of that as I want to take out. We're out of time now anyway, and I'm going to light this in just a couple of hours. Now it does look quite sunny at the moment, but it is very cold and we've had a few rain showers this morning, so everything is still quite damp. We're expecting to get cloud and rain over the next few days as well, which is perfect conditions. It's exactly what I want. Also, the wind at the moment is at my back. It's blowing in that direction, which is also the perfect direction for me to get this lit, because this is the larger end. And I was thinking, if the wind is blowing in this direction, that's great. I'll light it from this end. And as the wind blows in that direction, it'll slow down the rate of advance of burn through that pile. The big pile will go up first and then it'll slowly work its way up into the smaller stuff. If I'd done it the other way around and lit the small stuff, it would have raced right through and lit the big stuff. I'd have a huge wall that I'd be contending with. In this way, it should keep that fire contained as it moves up. That, plus I'll have the tractor to move stuff around. I've cleared a big area of dirt over the other side as well, between the forest and the dirt. There's a good 5 to 8 meters all the way up there between where the pile is and where the dirt is, but the forest everywhere is so wet at the moment anyway. Any embers that may go off, they're not going to be able to catch anything. We've had rain pretty much every day, I think bar 2. Definitely 1, maybe 2 days where we didn't get any rain at all over the last 3 weeks. So everything's very wet, very boggy underground, on the ground and that, so I think we're good. I'm also about to go and hook up the trailer. I'm going to put a 1,000 litre IBC on the back of that, fill it with water from the dam. I'll then put the pump and the 100 meters of fire hose that I've got all onto this big trailer, so that I'll bring it over here so that I've got it mobile, so I can move it to wherever I want to and still have a 100 meter reach if I need it. I'm not expecting to need it, but it's always good to take those precautions and have it there. Now, it's a little bit breezy down here at the moment. Up where the house is and up in the treetops, it's howling a gale. But that's expected to ease off over the next few hours. So as that wind does start to die down, as we get later into the afternoon, I'll get this lit. Most of it will get burnt up through the night as I monitor it, before we get, the wind picks up again tomorrow. Now it will be a couple of days of burning this pile, but it's going to be that initial amount where it'll be at its biggest. Then I can just manage it by moving bits. I'll use the tractor to push different pieces from piles around onto it, keep it contained, and over the next few days I'll burn off this pile. There's also a pile just to my left as well, a much smaller pile, and I'll get that burnt out as well. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's probably 5 or 6 piles out there behind the camera. They're not going to get done for quite some time. There's a lot of wood in there that I want to pull out. There's no urgency because, as I said, the solar panels are going to go in up the top there between this first stump and the back stump, up in there where that shadow is. That's where those solar panel arrays are going to go. So this is the area I really want cleaned up. So we'll see what happens. This episode could hold anything, and hopefully everything goes smoothly, because this isn't just a oops, it didn't go right. If things go bad, things go really bad. And I've had friends that know all about that. And you know who I'm talking about, don't you? Not everyone else, but the guy I'm talking to. Anyway, we're doing this, early spring. It's still very much like winter. Everything's wet. I'm sure it's all going to be fine. So conditions are pretty good at the moment, so we'll get cracking. Not bad without a reversing camera.
I hadn't noticed that the trailer didn't drop down and connect properly.
not going to worry about connecting up the lights because I'm just staying on the block here. Well, I'm not sure why that jumped off. It's only the second time ever I've had a trailer jump off on me. I could have sworn that it clicked in right, but maybe it just wasn't quite there. I had to put the trolley jack lift on, the wheel, should say the jack wheel, whatever you want to call it. I had to put it on to lift the front of the trailer up, she's heavy, to get it on. Once I had it on though, I wound it right up and actually started to lift the back of the car up, so I think it's hooked on properly this time again. I don't know why that happened, but you know me, I'll show it warts and all. I screwed it up, I want it hooked on properly. But now I'm just going to load on this IBC just over here, and then we'll go down and fill it up. Right on cue, here comes another light rainstorm. I'm not complaining, this is good for what I need to do. Now with these pumps, there's a water reservoir over the back here that needs to be full of water and primed. I leave that bung just sitting there when it's not in use so that the water can drain out. You don't want the impeller in there corroding up and whatnot, so we'll pop that back in. Now this is the intake, this grey one, and there's a one-way valve on the end of that, so that stays full of water. And then in the top here is where I fill it with water to prime it. Give that a minute to settle, get any air bubbles out of it. I do have a funnel in the car, but plenty of water. Eventually I get it full. Okay, that's full now. Let's see how we go. Sometimes it takes me a couple of goes to get the water to actually start flowing, but we'll see. Okay, well that only took a few minutes. Now I've just got to load up the pump and the fire hose. I've got the nozzle. We'll get it all loaded in here, get it moved over into position ready. Hopefully we don't need to use it. By laying that in there the way I did, I can just grab this and run it straight out. Alright, all the prep's in place. I've got the fire hoses all laid out. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I need to do now is I'm going to dig a bit of a hole down into the centre of this end. And that's because I've got like a half gas bottle, half size 9 kilo gas bottle. I'm going to fill with a mixture of fuel, a mixture of petrol and diesel. We'll light that up in there. It'll act like a big little lucifer to hopefully get this going. Now with that there, I've pulled it out, I can put in the barrel, get it lit, and then as it's lit I will push that straight back in over the top, all of that brush, and then get the tractor out of the way. So that's why I've got that prep ready like that. Alright, that's what I'm going to use. lucky. That could have gone all the way to the bottom. Right, so that's the diesel in. Put a little bit of fuel in as well. So if you want to understand, the fuel, the petrol burns quicker and easier. The diesel takes a lot longer to get started, but once it starts it burns for longer, so that's why the mixture. So here. Now we light it, and then we get the hell out of the way. Okay, so here's the IBC all filled up. I've just jacked up the trailer and got it propped. And then I got the intake hose. That's a 15 metre hose, that grey one. Comes down. It's already primed and full of water. And I know that because I made like a siphon and then I undid the top cap here and water started to gush out. When I did it back up, it started to flow through. And it has actually self-primed the entire hose, the entire 50 metres of hose, all the way down there, and I've got it all the way back up just to there because, obviously, of that. So, yeah. So now we'll just go down and we'll just monitor this. Now the wind has swung around a little bit, but it's not windy down here. It's howling up at the house still, but it's not windy down here. And we've got our friends come over. Hello, Sophie. There's our friend's daughter Sophie, and Tim's over the back there, and Paula's down there talking to Kay. But this is going well because it's going nice and slow, and that's what we want, just nice and slow. Nice slow burn. Alright, this end is going well. It's actually spread through past the big stump there, and it's spread out over to this other side, so it's coming through there now. So that's good. It's like creeping. It has taken a while, you can tell by how much darker it is, but slow and steady is far better than fast and furious as far as I'm concerned. But because it was going so slow and it didn't seem to be creeping up, we decided to light another one in the middle of this line, and it's going quite well at the moment because all that light stuff is burning off. Once all of the twigs and stuff burn off, then it's just the logs, and that'll calm right back down again. So that half gas bottle that I used to get this all started is right in the middle there, and it's glowing red. It's interesting because that one really hasn't spread that much. I'm expecting it to spread, well, it'll have to spread from left to right because there's nothing more out to the left. But this one that we lit over here, we actually lit that just here. Just started it there, and it's already in the last 15 minutes spread up and across and run up there. So that's really good. That's taken off really well. It's actually darker than it looks on the screen here. We just got some nice light misty rain falling at the moment. Not that you can see, but yeah, that's what we want. Just nice misty rain. Back over here, a bit more wood's burnt down, and now you can actually see that a lot better. That piece of gas bottle there. I'll get that out once the fire's gone and it cools off, and then it'll get used again. A lot of heat coming off that. Well, this fire is just burning nice and slowly. It's burning beautifully. It's very still now. And I've got the chair down here, glass of wine, and just sitting in front of a massive fire. It's wonderful. I'll probably spend the night down here, just keeping an eye on things, making sure that nothing gets out of hand, but I really can't see how anything's going to get out of hand. I've got a big clear zone around the pile. There's no wind now. We've had a few light showers. Everything's wet. So yeah, and that's why it's just slowly creeping through, because it's kind of got to dry out the pile as it progresses through. As it dries out from the radiant heat, then it starts to burn and dries out the next section, and that's exactly what I wanted, just a nice slow controlled burn. We get rid of the pile, it's all done nice and easy, no stress, no worry. So yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the evening down here, listening to the frogs and the owl. There's an owl in the background, a little boo-book owl. I'll just keep an eye on the fire. Well, she's been burning a lot slower than what I'd hoped. I wanted a nice slow burn, but not this slow. It's taken a fair bit of work through the night to keep it going, so I've just basically been down there snoozing in the car, getting up periodically, keeping it stoked. But yeah, we really haven't burnt that much. So it still hasn't even joined up in the middle there yet. Like I said, very slow burn. We've still got to get up, right up that line there, but that's a lot smaller pile as it gets up there. The big stuff was down in this corner. So I've just been using the tractor, pushing it around and trying to keep things going. So it's been a long night. Now down here is not too bad actually, because basically the wood pile did come out to the end here. Probably came out to about there. I've pushed a lot of dirt around, but yeah, that was a big pile right through here. So that's all burnt back. I just need to keep moving stuff through. So it's been 24 hours now and there's still a lot of that pile up there to burn. I reckon probably half. I reckon half is burnt out and there's still half yet to burn. So I'll just continue to monitor that during the night. So last night I pretty much just stayed down here, had the odd snooze in the car and was just moving the timber around and trying to keep it burning. Anyway, that'll be tonight. Just keep that going and get the big one lit and make sure it stays going as well. All right, let's get this one lit. Just like that. Don't do that at home, kids. That's beautiful. Who's got marshmallows? Seems a little bit of the hair. Have I still got eyebrows? I think I'm good. So just to quickly explain what happened there, it's the way I've lit a few of the others. I've got that barrel in there with the fuel in it, and I put that up in there, put a little bit of fuel around, and then when you saw me bend down to light, that was to light a tiny little fire lighter that was sitting on a sheet of bark. Normally what I do is I light that, and then I can stand back a bit, flick the fire lighter in, and it lights up. Now, I didn't have any fuel spilt down where I was. I can only assume that maybe vapor from the fuel had drifted down and across the ground, because when I lit that, I just saw it flash across the ground, and I know I had not spilt any fuel on the ground there. I'd only put some fuel up in on the timber, not on the ground, so I'm just not sure why it did that. It hasn't done it for the last 2 or 3 ones I did. I was very lucky. And that's why none of me actually caught fire or anything, because there was no fuel around. It was just that little bit of vapor. It was just that instant flash, and singed a little bit of hair on the back of my hand, and that was it. But most of what you saw was the whoosh up the back of the pile. So that's burning nicely now. It's all good, and we'll just monitor this for the evening. No harm done. Good morning. It's now the morning of day 3. Now, I didn't tend to the fires last night. I just kept an eye on them. I just camped out over in the shack that we built over there, and I could just look out the window and keep an eye on things throughout the night, but I didn't bother coming to move stuff around. I was really exhausted from the first night, so I thought I'll leave it go and see what happens. A lot of this one here has burnt down. This is the one that we lit up yesterday. And you can see there's the barrel right there that was buried right in and had that fuel in it. So yeah, a lot of this is just, it's all gone, which is great. What I need to do now is I'll probably push this little pile down over onto here, and it'll probably catch and keep going anyway throughout the day. Like I said, it is still smouldering. If we look around and we come over to these ones, even these ones, so again, this pile here, it started over at about there, so that's burnt all the way up to here and just left this small amount here that I'll need to set fire to and try and get that lot to burn out. And then all this middle section, it burnt out, which was good, and I pushed it around a bit. And then this pile up here, the remainder, and this is probably the most important part, because this part right here is where the panel may run through the solar panels, but most of that's burnt out too. It'll just be a matter of pushing that all up together with the tractor into a tighter group, tighter clump, and then get that relit and remove the last of that. So we haven't done too bad over 2 days. It's been 2 days of burning off. And today we'll finish it off. we haven't done too bad over the last couple of days. That pile there is reduced quite a lot, which is good. Just need to push that together. And then over here, this big long line, we did get rid of a lot of it. There's still that pile just there, not a big issue at the moment. And there's just this little bit up here. I do need to push this left hand stuff, I need to push that up towards that stump out of the way, and then that'll be basically everything cleared up here. So yeah, a big couple of days, and not without a couple of dramas either. But came out of that all right. I was really tired for a lot of that because I wasn't getting much sleep each night, and I realized that looking back at the footage, just how tired I obviously was. Anyway, we got it done. That was the main thing. Now we can move on to finally getting the holes drilled in the slab. That'll be next week's episode. We'll finally start getting that shed put up. I know I've said that for the last few episodes, but we really are, we're done now. We've done what we needed to do, so I can get over there, I can start getting those holes in the slab and start getting that shed put up. So thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed that one. And I'm sure there's going to be a few comments. Yes, I know it was a little crazy, and I definitely learned from that mistake, but yeah, I know what happened. Anyway, thank you. Until next Friday, stay safe, take care, have a great weekend. Catch you guys next Friday. Thanks for watching. Cheers.